Welcome, Cancer. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, and I am pulling for you on the glyph from the Glyph Oracle during this full moon in Sagittarius, the feather and the lightness. In this particular card, it shows the goddess Mot perhaps weighing something that looks like a palpable hieroglyph. And we know from the story of the deity that she weighs the heart against a feather at the time of transformation, at the time of transcendence. So the feather's talking about the lightness that comes with purity of heart, the simplification of life, of energy, of releasing what weighs us down, what no longer serves us, what makes our burdens heavy, and the joy, the light, and clarity as an uplifting and elevating energy, so that the more we cleanse our heart of the things that have brought us sadness or unhappiness that don't work, that create frustration, anger in our lives, the lighter we become. This is the lightness of spirit filling our heart and allowing us to rise up, to etherize. Your overall energy is the Ten of Wands, which is describing the ability to simplify, to counter a sense of overwhelm. Particularly for the Cancers, I'm sensing that say yes more often than they consider their own needs, that take on too many burdens. Others come to you with their uh, problems, with their concerns, with things that are difficult for them to process or simply to process, and that can uh, end up cluttering up, weighing you down, taking on the energy of others as the empath that many of you are, and simply just highly sensitive people. This is about recognizing how to set clear boundaries, how to protect your energy so that you can stay in a place of prioritizing your light, your joy, your pleasure in the world, and your ability to be a clear beacon for others, rather than someone who others are unloading their concerns on. Even unwittingly, you take them on. You're highly susceptible in that way. Underneath the deck, we have the Queen of Pentacles, and this is the earthy element of you, the practical, the productive, the one who wants to get things done, who wants to see results. And so that may be in many ways your intention in taking on the concerns of others. But the Queen of Pentacles is actually quite good in redirecting the energy of concern that others may bring. Her energy is one of showing others how to be strong, showing others how to do things for themselves. She empowers others by giving love, and that can be the kind of tough love that is required, particularly when others expect you to do the thing that they, in fact, can do and should do for themselves. I hope this reading is resonating for you. If so, please like this video. Please share this with others if you feel inclined to do so. I enjoy your comments, your appreciations, and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. I appreciate the time that you take with me. I recognize the value of that and appreciate it greatly. So in your present, we have the Ace of Swords. And so you are the bearer of truth. And in interesting ways, it is this communication or clarity that you offer others that allows you to make a clean break, to say no in a loving way, a way of redirecting the energy of someone who comes to you with their concerns, their worries, the truth of that, putting the ball back in their court, so to speak, turning over the responsibility for figuring things out back on the person who has the question, the problem, or the worry. You are, there's something about your energy. Maybe there's a strong air quality that allows you to be abstract um, when necessary, to look at what is fair, what is even, what is just in a situation. And perhaps those that come to you are not prepared to hear the truth in the way that you're able to deliver it. In the past, the Nine of Wands shows your ongoing frustration with perhaps a community, a work situation, a team, a circle of friends, certainly family members that come to you and expect you to play a certain role, that have limited you to a certain role. This almost feels like the role of the underdog. This can be the role of the truth sayer. This is one who is standing outside with just enough space to be able to see things in ways that others within the circle are not. And in that way, there is a sense of frustration. There's a sense of safety because you are always defensive, always understanding that your contribution is not seen as adequate to allow you to fully participate in the group. And in that way, you defend yourself from the expected or anticipated rejection. But at the same time, you understand that you are not of these particular members of a group or a team, and that you stand more comfortably outside of this inner circle. You are frustrated by it because it has dual benefits and distractions. One is being outside, being rejected, being excluded never feels good, particularly over a long period of time, never finding your way in, never seeing as one who belongs. In the future, the Hanged Man is describing the greater sense of perspective that you now recognize you must gain, you must accept, and you must turn over. And I see you gaining that a sense of perspective, that clarity, that illumination, and you holding on to that as you understand that in order to move to a place where you do belong, where you are receiving what you deserve, you are understanding, stepping back, pulling away from the situation, not in the same way that you have in the past, by simply hiding, defending yourself, protecting yourself, sort of obscuring your position so that nobody can really get their grips into you. But instead, in the future, you are taking a step back that is more truthful and allows you to gain see the truth, to look more objectively at what is occurring in these particular sets of relationships. And in that way, gain perspective. In other words, looking at it as a blessing rather than as a curse. And that is what is allowing you to understand that, in fact, your willingness and ability to sacrifice this need to belong to a group that you don't necessarily want to belong to is more of an obstacle, is more of the continuous weight, the frustration that drags you down and back. And that understanding that this is rejection as a form of protection, that you are actually free to pursue the things that resonate more clearly with who you are. In the present, the Ace of Swords is clarified by the King of Swords. I like this because how interesting. You're moving from receiving the illumination, the light, the clarity of your truth to being able to help others to challenge their expectations as well. Through personal experience, you've learned that things were, in fact, perhaps not the way that you understood them in the past. In fact, you are understanding that there are infinitely more possibilities available as you've shifted your expectation away from giving the power to others to accept or reject you. And the sense of self-acceptance, self-truth, self-purpose has given you a pathway and openness to new ideas as you are motivated to understand more deeply the ways in which we can collectively challenge our own beliefs. There's a way in which you are documenting, recording, expressing your experience in a way that helps other people. I also almost see a kind of counselor or therapist or a facilitator role that you can step into in the present moment that helps you and others to ask the right questions, so that you are being led by your curiosity rather than your judgment of how this situation didn't work for you. And your now curiosity is piqued regarding possibilities that you perhaps never saw. In the past, the Nine of Wands is clarified by the Empress, and this is absolutely beautiful. You are in complete possession of a powerful sensitivity and receptivity that is what motivates your practical nature, your desire to be creative and productive in that creative expression, so that you understand nature as your model of divine timing, how to initiate, how to maximize, and how to harvest the benefits, the rewards of your efforts and your ideas, so that you can show that to others. And that is a way in which you have hidden yourself from others who have hurt you, harmed you, or opposed you in some way, by perhaps retreating into your creative shell. And eventually you learn that this was a place of your own personal development, a place where you where you had a talent, where you have a gift in creating things, expressing love, and oddly enough, finding a place where you receive love in a way that you're not challenged or suspicious of those that are offering that. In the future, the Hanged One is clarified by two cards, the Five of Wands and the Seven of Cups. Interesting. So I see this as being a rather more complex energy in the future. I do see you moving away, feeling overwhelmed by the complications of relationships that have that demonstrate to you a sense of overcommitment, overextension in your life, where you're simply experiencing the consequence of saying yes to things that really are not resonant or relevant to you. Here I see you retreating back to contemplate possibilities, opportunities, perhaps rewards that you now, in seeing your life as gifted, as privileged, as protected, you are looking at new ways to work with others. And represents a significant transition from the way in which you have felt the need to protect yourself from a group of people who made you feel that you were on the margins, that you were excluded, that you didn't belong at the center of the circle. And now you are letting go of that experience of feeling of not belonging. In fact, you recognize quite clearly how are central, certainly, to your own life, but that your ability to see truth, to disseminate truth and justice through your words, your behaviors, your actions towards curiosity, opening up to new ideas, new ways of communicating, becomes a superpower in the future, where you understand that all relationships circle around the desire to solve a problem or create something that rests on a way of collaborating rather than a hierarchy. There are no more bosses in your life. To the Cancers I'm speaking to, you recognize all relationships as an agreement with others. And that agreement is centered around purpose, a purpose that you choose that opens up new possibilities to you, but one in which you are free to renegotiate this contract, this agreement, as you and others grow. So this is a really different way of looking at your relationships as you move into the future, a way that you're facilitating this growth by your ability to be open up to new ideas, to look at the power of ideas and the exchange of that. I'm going to finish up this reading, Cancer, with a pure magic oracle, and I have pulled Hecate's Path. Hecate's. The key words are cycle of life, night magic, crossroads, and letting go. So interesting, Hecate being a Wiccan energy entity, an ancient entity whose primary ritual centered around the crossroads, at which rituals were done at the dark of the moon, which is 3 days before a new moon. During that time, offerings were made at the crossroads to celebrate all the things that had been learned from the past cycle. Hecate's energy rises at night. She has familiars. And it is in the power of the night that she is most comfortable to communicate with all of her elementals. But this essentially is about letting go of the past, taking the gifts of our lessons from the past and moving forward with an open heart and with a full heart, understanding that challenges have given us blessings. If you've enjoyed this content, Cancer, please check out more content here. And until next time, namaste.